What's up, everybody? Welcome to the dungeon. I'm your host, Analytical Mystic. I am about to do your weekly tarot readings. Keep in mind, these readings are general, they may not resonate with everybody. Also, I am working on this month's tarot readings, and they will be posted on Patreon within the next week, so go ahead and check that out. Subscribe if you would like to check those out, actually. So, what I'll be doing is I'll be pulling 2 cards for each zodiac sign, one for the general energy of the month, and then I'll pull another one separate for love energy because everybody wants to know about love, but not everybody has love in their life. It just is what it is. So hold up, wait a minute. Also, I had 2 pulled out recently, so if the way I'm talking is off, forgive me. Let's go ahead and get started though. My Aries. Okay, let's get going. What's going on with Aries over the next week? What kind of energy will Aries encounter over the next week? What's going on with Aries? Okay, Aries, you have the Queen of Swords, so you may be feeling a little detached, a little moody, a little bitchy, kind of cold. You're not really feeling people. It's just people in general. You may be like really wanting to detach from the people around you and just like everything in general because everything's just crazy right now and it can get overwhelming, and the only thing you can really do is focus on what's important and your responsibilities in life, and I think that that's what you're doing. Also, you may be going into some sort of studying, or you may be taking the time out to do courses or learn about something a little bit more. Let's get another card. Let's get a card to see what's going on in Aries' love life. Aries, we have the Knight of Wands in your love life. So you may feel um, little extra a little extra inclined to go out and have a good time. You want to go out, you want to meet some people and just enjoy yourself. You're open to a quick fling, not really looking for anything serious. So if you are seeing someone, it's not necessarily a serious situation. Um, if you are in a relationship, you may be a little quick to being moody with your partner. You're feeling feisty. You're feeling feisty. And I have got to take into consideration this Queen of Swords energy. And Queen of Swords can be very cold and she can be a bitch. So it's like you may end up, being super easily triggered. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. You'll be easily triggered by and easily annoyed by your significant other. So try to keep in mind that you're a little extra edgy. It's not necessarily their fault. They may not even be doing anything different than what they usually do. You're just kind of in a mood where you're like, everything around you just hurts you. So it's not just them, it's everything. Alright, let's move on to Taurus. see what is going on with Taurus over the next week. And energy will Taurus encounter over the next week. What's going on with Taurus? So you have the Queen of Wands energy. So you may have a similar feisty energy about you, kind of fiery. Um, but at the same time, you're not as easily triggered. So you're not quick to snap on somebody, but you're not afraid to say what you say. Say what you want to say and just like mic drop, basically. Very confident. Um, you have a really good idea of what you want to do in life moving forward. If you don't, this is something that you are working to figure out because you feel optimistic about your life moving forward, but at the same time, you don't know what you're going to do in your life moving forward. So you may be kind of getting that together, or you may be becoming more aware of that. But once things get set off, you are really going to go hard on what you are working on. Very, very dedicated and very, very passionate about what you're doing. See what's going on in your love life. Okay, you have the Emperor. So with the Emperor, you may be deciding to commit or, committing to an actual relationship or deciding to, ask somebody if they are on that same page with you. You want to bring more structure to the relationship, define it more. Um, you care very deeply about your partner. You're very much attracted to them. So this is not something that, like, you may be having to help them with some things, but you don't mind because you absolutely adore them. You absolutely adore them. So, but you may also have someone in your life that feels this way about you. You need to beware of being too controlling or being with someone who is too controlling. Not everything can go your way, and one needs to learn to be okay with that. No matter how much you're not okay with it, you still have to just accept things as it is. Things as it is. Like there may be some people um, that are inclined to throw a fit. I mean, these could be grown men and women like throwing tantrums when they're not getting their way, and that's why they need to not get their way, um, because they've learned to do that to get their way, and it's basically like spoiling a kid and encouraging negative behavior. So it's like reinforcing toxic behavior. We don't want to do that, right? We don't want to have a toxic relationship. I mean, I don't. Do you want to have a toxic relationship? I'm just assuming you don't want one. That's toxic. Um, okay, but if you are single, you're ready to mingle. You're single, you're ready to mingle, you're feeling very good about yourself, you know what you want. In a partner, you know what you want in a fling, you're open to both. Like, so you are ready to go out and have a good time, feeling good about yourself. Beware of being arrogant and cocky. Just saying. All right, let's move on to Gemini. Let's see what's going on with Gemini. What kind of energy will Gemini encounter over the next week? See what's going on with Gemini. That's too many, we just need one. We just need We have the Death card. It's over, it's done, it's come to an end, it's come to a resolution, it's time to change, it's time to evolve. But first, this has to end, first, this has to die. It sounds kind of dramatic, but it's the reality of the situation, whether you like it or not, it just is what it is. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing depending on your situation. This could be very, very good. And even if it seems like a bad thing initially, it leads to something good. You are going to grow as a person from this ending, from this experience and the conclusion of it. And this is going to push you forward where you've been stagnant. You may have been needing to do something, and life kind of makes it happen for you, and it pushes you forward, and it pushes you forward in a good direction, even though it's pretty jarring and uncomfortable at first. Okay, let's see what's going on in your love life, Gemini. What is going on in Gemini's love life? Gemini, you have the Page of Swords, so you're speaking very little, if at all. Right now, you're kind of thinking about the situation and you're kind of observing the situation. You want to see what happens. Um, and that's why you're not acting. Like you feel like you need to know more about the situation before you take action. But if you are dealing with somebody, you may have withdrawn. And if you are communicating, it's very short and it's very petty, very argumentative, very hurtful. And if you're single, you may be just kind of looking, you're just looking, you may be on the apps, learning about different people, dating different people, seeing if you find somebody you like, basically. But I think you feel very detached from it. I don't think you really like going and like looking for love. I think you're just looking for companionship, nothing serious. You may act like you're looking for love, but you're not. You're just lonely, you know. It happens. No judgment here. It happens. Alright, moving on. Moving on. What's next? What's next? I don't know what's next. Cancer. Let's see what's going on with Cancer over the next week. What kind of energy will Cancer encounter over the next week? Cancer, we have the Three of Pentacles. So if you and other people have kind of had conflict or been in arguments or whatever, you guys are going to hammer all that out and everything's going to be cool again. You're really focused on having a good time and enjoying life right now. Maybe going out and spending time with your loved ones and just, yeah, like I said, trying to enjoy life and celebrate it as it is. Um, on conversely, I think there may be some of you who are feeling very detached from a certain person or other people because of a previous conflict. It's like y'all haven't spoken in a really long time, and you may have a desire to reconnect, but it's not happening right now. Okay, let's see what's good. So there may be something that does happen in your life that is still worth celebrating. Either way. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Cancer. What's going on in Cancer's love life over the next week? Cancer, you have the Ace of Swords. So the truth is going to come out. The truth will become known. There will be an honest conversation that takes place. There may be some difficult things that are discussed. There may be some harsh words exchanged, but I think that they will be worked out. And what I kind of mean by that is miscommunications that could happen during discussions are also clarified during the discussions. Um, and with some of you guys, you and your partner are going to come to a deeper understanding with each other, and this moment of honesty is going to lead to growth in your relationship because it sets an example of how you're going to deal with conflict moving forward. But others of you, well, it still sets an example of how you're going to be dealing with conflict moving forward. And some of you aren't going to deal with it very well. And so some of you may not make it. Some of you's relationships may not make it. I'm not laughing about that. I'm just like kind of laughing at these. Some of you know, some of you won't. Anyways, it's not funny. Um, it's really not funny. But I mean, yeah, no. Anyways, to those of you who are single, let's go to you guys. Let's go to my singles. You just really coming to terms with things that have happened in your past and past relationships. Maybe being very, very honest with yourself about the role that you have played and the actions that you have taken in your previous relationships that have led you to the place you are now. Were they healthy? Were they not healthy? Was the type of person healthy? Were they not? Was it the same person in a different body that you were dealing with? Kind of just, trying to figure things out for yourself so that you can really be able to go out there and meet people and date and know what type of partnership that you are looking for so that you can discern the difference between a partnership and a playship. Alright? Yeah, let's move forward. Moving on to my sweet Leos. What is up, Leo? What is going on over the next week, Leo? What kind of energy are you encountering? What's going on with Leo over the next week? Leo, you have the Page of Swords. So you may be feeling, let me scoot up a little closer to the mic because my tooth is really starting to hurt, so I don't know if I'm talking as loud. Um, anyways, so you may be feeling a little bit detached over the next week. Um, you know, this you have the Page of Swords, so you're kind of, um, having the same energy of sitting back and just kind of seeing what's going on and, trying to learn more about your situation. If you're not already taking classes, you may be signing up for them. You may be spending a lot of time surfing the internet right now, um, and just doing research in general. When you talk to people, you don't really have long conversations. So it's like you may not feel like talking to people as much as you may at other times. So right now you're just kind of like, you want to keep to yourself, you want to further your education, um, and take care of yourself, nurture yourself basically, like focus on yourself. But this leads to um, a level of detachment that is good for you, but other people may take the wrong way. So let's get a card for your love life. Let's see what's going on in Leo's love life over the next week. What's going on in Leo's love life over the next week? Alright, Leo, you too have the Emperor. Um, I don't know. I feel like some of you may be a little controlling, a little extra uptight this week, just in general, but especially with your partner. Like, your partner's going to have to suffer the consequences, and that's not fair to them. So try to be vigilant of this behavior, um, so that your partner doesn't have to, like, deal with the consequences of whatever you got going on inside your head. So it may be a good idea to, like I said, you have this energy of being distant from people, and that that that's probably not a bad idea, because I think you may be feeling a little more uptight than usual, a little bit more on edge than usual. Um, I think some of you may feel like you're doing everything in the relationship, and even though you like it, you don't at the same time. You like having control of the situation, but you don't like having to do everything all the time by yourself. So it's kind of like, okay, this isn't necessarily a healthy dynamic. Maybe realizing that and reflecting on that and kind of trying to learn how to change the situation, move it in a positive direction. Those of you who are single, you're just really, really focused on getting your life in order and together. Relationships are not really a priority right now. Getting your shit together is. Making sure that you can take care of yourself and anybody who may depend on you is what you're really focused on right now, not so much relationships. Okay, moving on. Leo, we must move on, my dear. Onward to Virgo. Alright, Virgo. See what's going on with you over the next week. What's going on with my Virgos over the next week? What kind of energy is Virgo going to encounter over the next week? Except for Virgo. Virgo, you have the Page of Wands. So you may actually be feeling a little bit chatty. You may be feeling a little bit more inclined to have a conversation or have conversations with people than usual. Which you have been pretty much keeping to yourself for a while now. So you finally gotten to a place where you're starting to come out of your shell a little bit and trying to lighten up and have more fun and have a good time. I'm just trying to be more optimistic about life moving forward, about the new year, and basically trying to drag yourself out of the funk you've been in. And it's working. So let's get another card for your love life. Let's see what's going on in Virgo's love life over the next week. What's going on in Virgo's love life over the next week? Virgo, you have the Sun. So there will be clarification, there will be light shed on a situation between you and your partner. You may be trying to figure out whether or not you're on the same page and whether or not you love the same things. Even though this conversation may cover some serious topics, I feel like it's not a super serious conversation, or it's just, what I mean by that is it doesn't have like a super negative undertone, even if negative things are spoken about. Like, I feel like you and your partner will be able to have a decent conversation about what's going on, and where you stand. I feel like you've been really confused for a while about what you want and what you want to do. And you may be at a point or come to a point this week where you finally figure it out and possibly even begin to take action towards what it is that you've decided. Which it very well may be just going out and having a good time with friends. Just hoping to meet somebody, being open to meet somebody, being flirtatious with people. So you're trying to have a good time if you're single. You're trying to have a good time if you're in a relationship. You've been bummed out for a while now. So, and you're tired of being bummed out. You're like, okay, time to move on. And so that's what you're trying to do. Alrighty, Virgo. And that'll be it. That's pretty direct. Let's move on to Libra. What is going on with Libra over the next week? What kind of energy will Libra encounter? Okay. Alright, Libra, you have the Hangman. So here with the Hangman, you may find yourself in a situation where there's not much you can do moving forward. You're kind of at a pause in your life. Kind of waiting to see if something happens, waiting on more information to come through about something before you can move forward with it. You may be having to sacrifice some things in order for you to move forward in a positive direction. but that may not be so clear to you now. You're, like I said, you're kind of at this pause. Sorry. And during this pause, you're going to kind of take the time to figure that out. I think you'll be able to come to some sort of conclusion, um, or maybe if it's not a conclusion, some sort of epiphany over the next week that helps you to understand things in a better way. See what's going on in your love life, Libra. What is going on in Libra's love life? Okay, Libra, you have the Seven of Swords in your love life. So, you know, you may be hiding something from your significant other. You may be very detached and just not really opening up to them at all. So it's not necessarily that you're hiding. You just don't really trust them, and you're not like at a place where you're ready to open up at all. I would like to say some of you guys are getting to a point where you are coming out from a period such as this, um, after being in a state of pause and having time to reflect on this more. Or you may be taking this time again and detaching from your partner and or your love life so that you can figure this out. And once you're able to figure it out, only then will you come out and move forward. You may have been dealing with a lot of that indecision that you struggle with so much. So you may be having a really, really hard time with that. And that's why you're kind of keeping to yourself more, because you know that if you deal with other people, there's going to be more pressure to do this. So you're not really ready for that type of pressure right now. And that's like if you're in a relationship right now or not, you're not really ready for the pressure of um, whether or not of figuring out what you want to do right now. Your indecision is getting the best of you. Okay, let's move on to Scorpio. Again, I'm sorry if I'm quieter or talking a little bit different. I had a tooth pulled and it hurts a lot, even though I took medicine. So, okay, let's get a card for Scorpio. For you, Scorpio, let's see what's going on in Scorpio's love life over the next week. What's going on in Scorpio's love life over the next week? Not love life, my bad. Not love life. Let's just do general. We'll get to love life. Don't worry. We'll get to love life. We gotta do general first. So, what's going on in Scorpio's life, just in general, over the next week? What's going on in Scorpio's life in general over the next week? Scorpio, you have the Five of Wands. So, you're just dealing with a lot. You're dealing with a lot. You may be arguing with a lot of people. You may be having to have heated discussions with a lot of people. It's just frustrating. You don't like this. You don't like arguing. You don't like the drama that comes with it. You don't like the stress that comes with it, or the way it makes you feel. But unfortunately, in a situation like this, you can't really avoid it. If you avoid it, it causes even more conflict. So those of you who try to avoid this conflict, just letting you know, it's just going to make it more difficult in the future when you do finally face it. Some of you may be having a hard time deciding, also with indecision, deciding what you want to do about something. You're very conflicted about it, possibly because the situation is volatile. The situation you could be going into has the potential to be volatile. So you're not really sure whether or not you want to take that risk right now. And that's something you really got to consider this week. Let's see what's going on in your love life. What's going on in Scorpio's love life? Hopefully a little less conflict, but we shall see. What's going on in Scorpio's love life? Scorpio, you have the Ten of Wands. So you may be feeling um, like you are carrying the weight of your relationship. I do think that you and your partner have had a lot of conflict lately, even if it's like passive aggressive, and you're just overwhelmed because you have all these responsibilities and you know that your relationship is not going so well, even if it's like not explosive. You're not in a good place with your partner, not where you want to be. And right now, yeah, you feel like it's on you. Excuse me, the decision's on you, everything is put on you. It's a lot of pressure that you don't really want. So it's kind of like you need to take into consideration whether or not this person is worth it to you. Is it worth dealing with this pressure that you so desperately want to avoid? Um, or is this a lesson, you need to learn anyway? Is this person, worth learning the lesson with? Because I think, yeah, it is something you're going to have to learn anyway. There's a lesson here to be learned, and it'll just manifest in different ways moving forward if you don't confront it here. So, kind of deciding whether or not you want to confront it here or not. But it just seems like a lot of work. You don't, you don't really want to put the work in, but at the same time you do. At the same time you do want to put the work in. So you're very conflicted. Again, not really sure how you want to move forward. If you're single, you may feel like you've been taken advantage of a lot, and you may feel like you're always the one doing the work in the relationship. So you may be reluctant to talk to anybody or date or anything like that because you don't want to be taken advantage of again. So, but at the same time, I think you're at a point where you don't really want to be alone anymore. I think you're at a point where you do want some sort of companionship. So you're very conflicted about how you're going to handle this. Like, are you being too protective? Are you being paranoid? Is this whole self-preservation thing actually detrimental to you finding the love that you desire? These are questions you'll be asking yourself this week. Let's move on to my Saggies. What is up with Sagittarius over the next week? What kind of energy will Sagittarius encounter over the next week? Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with Saggies. Let's see. What is up, Sagittarius? You have the Seven of Swords. So right now, you may be being, you may be being very sneaky, very very sneaky, very very sneaky, sir or madam. I don't know if this is good or bad. It really depends on your situation. This could be um, you being sneaky and manipulative and like robbing somebody. Or this could be, you stepping out and, cheating on your significant other, even though I'm not talking specifically about your love life right now. But I mean, that type of kind of you're doing something major and you're not telling somebody about it. You're not telling everybody about it. There's some things that you're hiding from people. You don't want them to find out, at least not right now. I think eventually you will address the situation, but right now you just want to avoid it. It's something you just really want to avoid right now. So you may be hiding. You may be hiding from a situation. Let's see what's going on in your love life now, though. Let's see what's going on in your love life and if it's connected to this disappearance. It's not necessarily a disappearance. It's just kind of, there's a bit of distance there because, um, there's the dishonesty there. It creates a distance that's there even if the other party does not realize that it's there. Okay, Sagittarius, in your love life, you have the King of Cups. So you're going to be feeling very emotional, very loving, very affectionate. I guess in some situations, yeah, there are some situations where you are stepping out on your partner because that's how loving and affectionate you feel. You have enough to spread it around and share it around. At least that's kind of your mindset on the situation. You may be going out and partying and meeting people, hooking up, and maybe a lot of one night stands, honestly. Um, but if you are having one night stands, it's because your heart's broken. You are very, very emotional right now. You really are very, very emotional. So I think in some situations you may have found out something, like you may have found out that your partner was hiding something or cheating, and the truth has finally come out. It's finally been revealed, and you may be like just in this miserable state where you're trying to drown your tears, be it in alcohol or ice cream. You're trying to find some way to make yourself feel better, because you feel so awful. I think there may be some situations where there is a major crush here, like a secret crush. You feel super strongly for somebody, but they don't know it, and you haven't told them yet. But you're starting to feel it on a level to where you feel like you can't keep it to yourself anymore. You feel like you want to tell them, but you may be reluctant to at this point. Right now, you're trying to hide what you feel, I think, out of fear of rejection, basically. All right, let's move on to Capricorn. All right, let's see what's going on with Cappies. What's up with Capricorn over the next week? What kind of energy will Capricorn encounter over the next week? What's up with Capricorn? Okay, Capricorn, you have the Ten of Pentacles, so you are focused on your coins, focused on your money, focused on your stability, focused on your bills. But also focused on abundance. You want to feel satisfied and happy in all areas of your life. You feel like a lot of these areas, unfortunately, require money. And so that's why you may be like working really hard. You may be having multiple jobs, or if you're not like officially working um, for someone, you may be doing some under the table work. Either way, saving money is a priority right now. Perhaps you are saving to move out, get your own home or apartment. You're just trying to gain more independence, I feel. And I think that you think a lot of that independence relies on money, relies on the amount of money that you have. And honestly, that's not a complete lie because you got to pay your bills. You got to pay your bills. So that is not a lie. To be out on your own and independent and doing your own thing requires money. Unless you want to be homeless, which, I mean, no judgment to the people that are homeless. Some people live very exciting lives, hitchhiking and camping and hotels and, all that stuff. Um, while doing all kinds of other stuff in between. But others, they just want more stability. And I think right now you just want more stability in your life. Let's see what's going on in your love life. What's going on in your love life? Well, I just need one card. I just need one card for Capricorn's love life over the next week. What is going on with Capricorn's love life? I feel like I've gotten this card a lot tonight, the Emperor in the love position. So I think some of you may be feeling um, just very uptight and just really wanting to manage everything in the relationship on your own. But I mean, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, you're trying to provide um, for yourself, but if you're in a relationship and living with somebody, you're trying to provide for them as well. You want to make sure they're taken care of, even if they have a job. You want to make sure that if something happens to their job, that you're still okay. You can still take care of everybody. So that may be something that you're really focused on extra right now. Um, but you may be like imposing rules as a result. Like, we gotta not spend so much money here. We gotta save money. Like I said, being more controlling over the situation. And hopefully, your relationship is not one of those situations where somebody is being abusive with their finances, that they're manipulating you because you depend on them, or you're manipulating somebody else because they depend on you. I hope that's not the situation, but I mean, I can't deny that it's possible with some people, unfortunately. Um, I think that some of you who are single, yeah, you're at a point in your life where you would like to meet somebody and settle down, and it requires, well, like, you think getting your shit together, getting a home, making sure you can provide. You don't want to go on this with nothing. You may be one of those people that feels like you have to have a certain amount of things, or you have to have your life a certain way before you can actually have a relationship. And so that may be something that you are working and focusing All right, let's move on to my Aquarius. See what's going on with Aquarius over the next week. What kind of energy will my Aquarians encounter? Let's see what's going on with them. What's going on with Aquarius over the next week? What kind of energy will they encounter? Let us see what's going on for the D. Okay, you have the Four of Pentacles. So you may be kind of keeping to yourself, not really talking to very many people. You're holding back. Some of you are also focusing on saving money, stacking your coins. You have plans. You have ideas about what you want to do moving forward, but you don't want other people to know what your ideas are, because I think you're afraid that they may attempt to influence um, your ideas, or they may be giving you their opinion on what's going on, and it may lead to you starting to doubt yourself, and which leads to them, basically influencing your decision. And that's not the way you want things to be, because this is your life. And perhaps you've been dealing with people, and this person has done it before, people that have done it before. So it's something that you're kind of being vigilant of now, not necessarily a bad thing. Some of you may actually be letting the guard down with some people and letting them in, but only a little bit, only enough for them to know that they're special. You're not the type of person to go uh, exposing your emotions. And even if you are that type of person right now, in this moment, at this time, you are not. You won't do any major displays, but you may, like I said, say enough for people to know that where you stand on the situation. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Aquarius. What's going on in Aquarius's love life over the next week? What kind of energy will Aquarius encounter? Let's see. Aquarius, you have the Ten of Wands. So, with the Ten of Wands, you really are having a hard time not thinking about your relationship or your relationship status. Um, it's bothering you. It's bothering you. And you don't necessarily want to be thinking about this so much. Like, if you're single, you don't want to be thinking about how single you are. You're kind of keeping yourself, so it's like, even though it may be bothering you, you don't want to do what it takes to make things different. You don't want to take the time to put yourself out there to meet people to potentially have a relationship with. Like, you're one of those people that's entitled, like, inclined, not entitled, inclined to use those, I don't know if they're AIs or like little tests where it's like, your future soulmate looks like this. You're one of those people to be playing around with something like that, because you dream of having a soulmate, but you don't want to really leave your current situation. And I think your current situation really needs to change in order for you to move forward in your love life. And perhaps that's not something you see at the moment. Perhaps you're having a hard time seeing it. Like, there could be something that you are doing that is preventing your love life from progressing. Whether you're with somebody or not, it's getting in the way of things working out. Like, if you're single, it's getting in the way of you finding a successful relationship. If you're not single, it's causing problems. So, um, it's not necessarily a bad idea for you to kind of um, hold yourself back a little bit until you figure out what's going on. Because if you are with somebody, um, your frustration could kind of like seep out of you and affect your partner in a negative way. Like, it could come out in a way where you're just being really hostile towards them for seemingly no reason at all, and you're just overwhelmed. And you may also be in a situation where you are growing attached and you feel vulnerable and you don't like that. So this may also be a pushing away thing. But even though you may have pushed somebody away, you can't stop thinking about them. So you can't really push them away when they're haunting you inside your mind. So yeah, that's but you're gonna be working on that this week. Let's move on to Pisces. Last but not least, let's see what's going on with my Pisces. All right, what's up with Pisces over the next week? What kind of energy will Pisces encounter over the next week? What is going on with Pisces next week? Pisces, you have the Empress here. So some of you may be pregnant, getting pregnant, finding out you or somebody else is pregnant. Some of you could really be spending a lot of time with your mom, or mom could be coming in town. You're feeling very nurturing. Even if you are not a mother, you're the type of person that likes to nurture people. You're the type of person that likes to take care of people. Like, you're the type of person that brings everybody at work little baggies of candy on Valentine's Day and stuff like that. You're just very kind and considerate, and you may be feeling extra, like that's amped up this week. Um, but that also amps up your sensitivity, because you are feeling very empathic. And this can be painful in certain situations, so be careful who you're around, because your energy is definitely very sensitive right now, and people could definitely take advantage of that. So try to try to stay away from those energy vampires if you actually have an awareness of who they are. Some of you are entering into a new phase in your life that you are extremely excited about. You could be starting a job, starting a new project. Um, Either way, this is the birth of something new, and you are absolutely excited. Now, some of you could have some issues getting this off the ground, but it's something that you are attempting to do anyway. Like, you may be trying to push through those complications and issues because this is just something that you really believe in. Something you really believe in. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Pisces. What's going on in Pisces love life? You got me rhyming for you, Pisces, and singing for you. Let's see what's going on in your love life. Okay, what's up in Pisces love life? All right, you have the Ace of Cups. So some of you, like, you are just in this is like the honeymoon period in your relationship, and if you have been together for an extremely long time, you're having a honeymoon period in your relationship. Things are going really good right now. You and your partner are like extra in love, basically. So where sometimes, you kind of get in a routine, you kind of get in your habits, and things aren't as romantic and stuff like that anymore. Well, you feel that romantic love. You feel, it's more of, it's like a blanket of love that you're surrounding with, and that you're just soaking up every single moment and enjoying every single moment while you can, because you know nothing lasts forever. Just don't dwell on how nothing lasts forever right now. So, because you want to still enjoy the now, so try to make sure that, like, when you're mind wanders to like, oh my gosh, this is not gonna last, try not to think about it and be like, you know what, just enjoy now. Just enjoy this moment. Um, enjoy it. Love it. Treasure it. You know, keep this memory. There are some of you, those of you who are single, you have a very deep, 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 deep desire to have a relationship right now. Um, you know, you're entering into a new phase in your life where you feel like you have what you need and you just want to meet somebody that you can take care of, be it financially or just in the home or both. You know, you're just at a point in life where you're ready to settle down. Um, you're very lovey-dovey, very into those love stories. Like if you're a dude, you may be low-key watching rom-coms and digging them, you know, um, and like even tearing up, like um, in some of those movies. Trying to think of the name of this movie I watched recently with Drew Barrymore and Justin Long. So funny. Had me cackling. Had me cackling. I hadn't laughed that hard in a while. Wish I could remember it. Anyways, but yeah, so you're in love with love. Or just, you know, if not in love with love, that sounds kind of dramatic, but you're feeling very open to love and open to give love and receive love. And so you may be giving it out freely whether or not that person is giving it back. But you do have people in your life that do appreciate you. Do not doubt that. There are. So, you know, again, it's not just, you don't necessarily have to have a partner here. Anybody who is close to you, you know, of course, like I said, you kind of have a desire for one because you have all this love to give and share. And you're sharing it with everybody that you love, your family and friends. You just wish you had a partner to share it with, you know, in due time. In due time. So those are the readings for the week. I hope they resonate in some way, shape, or form for accuracy purposes. And I hope to see you guys again next week. Thanks for being patient with me not talking as effectively. And thank you to everyone who showed up to hang out, everybody who shows up later, and the haters. Love all of you guys. See you later.